And the next order of business is the interest rate payable in 2011. We'll need a motion. The rate in 2010 was 5.5%. So if we're keeping it at 5.5% or changing it, we'll need a motion to that effect.
Can we afford 5.5?
Keeping it at 5.5 will just add to the liability of the fund. As I mentioned last year, keeping it at 5.5 also, I think, prevents some people from pulling their shares out. Because 5.5%, quite frankly, is quite a high interest rate compared to what you can get elsewhere.
Yeah. Do you think 4.5% would have the same effect?
It might. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if somebody's going to take it out and invest it somewhere, I think they're not going to get that kind of a rate.
What's your suggestion, Bob?
If there is a year that we would lower the rate, this would probably be the year. It would help our if we lower it for just this year, and I don't know what percent, it will lower our annual required contribution for next year.
All right, I'll make a motion to do it at 3%.
No, can't go that far. It has to be between 4 and 5.5. I think if we're
4.
going to
What's the lowest we can go?
4, I would recommend if we do drop it, I would go 4.5. I wouldn't go below that.
Okay, well, my motion is for 4%.
Is there a second? Not seeing a second. What's next?
I'll make the motion for the recommended 4.5%.
Second.
I'm going to vote against it because I want to keep it the same. So, all those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No.
It's 4 to
Did
1.
Sally vote or
Well, she voted.
which did you vote
4.5.
for?
Motion is for a cost of living raise for the retirees. As you saw by the letter that I passed around, Hay Group said contrary to what Washington said, or the Social Security, that there actually was a cost of living, and I asked Hank what they based it on. It was 1.6%. So if we give a 90% cost of living, it'll increase the retirees. They'll get a cost of living raise of about 1.45, and it'll cost the retirement fund $202,994.
I'll make a motion we do that.
I'll second it.
Any questions? All those in favor, consent by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes
Aye.
have- You're opposed?
I am for this year. I just think that our debt is too great, and it would be a way to cut. I don't think that we can afford it this year. I really
Well,
don't.
according to these figures, I think we were $7 million to the good last year, weren't we?
What's
Took
that?
in $11 million and gave out 4, so we came out.
What's that, Larry?
In your report, I thought I saw somewhere where we took in $7 million more than we needed to pay benefits. Am I reading that right?
I don't recall saying that anywhere.
Okay, well,
We paid our $500,000 yet this year. When are we going to pay that?
We told you in the budget process we were not going to pay it this year.
But I think we
We
should.
told you in a public meeting we were not going to pay it. How often are you going to bring it up?
Well, I think it's important to bring it up because it's the end of the year.
It's a commissioner's action. It is not the retirement board's action.
Did I misunderstand you when you said, though, that it would lower the amount of contribution? the
It would
county
lower
have to?
the annual required contribution.
Do you know what that figure might be?
I won't know that. We'd only get that. We only get that next year. I can't put a dollar and cents figure to it at all.
What is it this year? Do you know?
What's that?
What is it this year? You know?
5 million. I can't, put a dollar and cent. I don't really know, but it will lower that. I can tell you, it will make that a lesser amount because it lessens the liability of the fund.
Well, now that we're back in the regular session, I would make a motion to make a payment for the pension this year. The
Would you tell me where you're going to get the money? That's what I'd like to know.
the $500,000 that we had budgeted. I think we need to make that payment.
Dies for lack of a second. Anything else?